Welcome to Expressions, Equations, and Inequalities. Let's get started. Welcome to Expressions, Equations, and Inequalities. Let's get started. The question we want to answer in our notes today is what are the differences between an expression, an equation, and an inequality? We're going to start first with an expression. Okay, so you can write this in the notes part of your notebook. An expression, and I'm going to write it out as I say it, but it's a combination of numbers and, or I guess, variables joined by operation symbols. So that's some good vocabulary to remember: operation symbols, variables. So again, we'll say an expression is a combination of numbers and or variables that are joined by operation symbols. Fix my L over here. So an example of that could be something simple like 2c plus 8. I mean, that's an expression. When we work with expressions, let's look at another example. I'm going to do 6 parentheses x plus 2 close parentheses. Okay, so this is also an expression. We've got numbers, we got variables, and they're joined by operation symbols. Okay, but when we work with an expression, we want to simplify. You don't solve an expression, you simplify it. So for example, and I'm going to move this over here, but I've got 6x plus 12. So this would be a simplified expression. Okay, I followed the rules of PEMDAS, and I simplified by distributing that 6 to give me 6x plus 12. So expression, expression, simplified expression. Still just an expression, but it was simplified from here. So I'm going to give you an example to do on your own, and you can pause this video and go ahead and solve it. I'm sorry, I just said solve, and I told you no solving expressions. Simplify it. 6 times x plus 5 minus 2 times x plus 1. Okay, so simplify this expression and pause the video, do it on your own, on your notebook, and then you can unpause it and check back to make sure that you did it right. All right, so hopefully you took some time to simplify your expression. In case you wanted to make sure you were right, we distribute this 6. We have 6x plus 30. We distribute the negative 2, so negative 2x minus 2. Don't forget to distribute the negative here. Okay, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Then we still follow the rules of PEMDAS, and we combine our like terms here. So I'd have 6x minus 2x, that's 4x, and 30 and minus 2 is 28. Okay, so here's my expressions. This was an expression. When you work with an expression, you simplify. We should have gotten 4x plus 28. All right, so now we're going to look at an equation. So an equation is just a mathematical sentence. That's supposed to say mathematical. I'm just getting used to this stylus again. Okay, mathematical sentence in which two expressions, okay, so we just talked about expressions. So now we're taking two expressions and we're joining them together with an equal sign. Okay, equation has an equal sign. So equations, mathematical sentence in which two expressions are joined by an equal sign. Okay, so a quick example of that would be something like 3 plus y equals 8. Here's an expression, numbers and variables joined by operation signs. Here's an expression, okay, it could be numbers or just variables, and it's joined by an equal sign. Two expressions with an equal sign. That's an equation. So another example here, 2 times x plus 4 equals 3x minus 6. Again, an expression joined by the equal sign. So the difference here with the expression we simplified, now you hear you solve. Okay, so we're going to solve an equation. So we would distribute our 2 into the parentheses following PEMDAS. 2x plus 8 equals 3x minus 6. And then again, with solving, we've got to combine our like terms, but we've got to subtract 2x from both sides in order to do that. So I end up with x minus 6 over here. Then I want to add my 6 to the other side. So I should have 14 equals x. Okay, so this is the equation, and we solved it for x. So just like with the expression, let's give you an example for you to do on your own. You can pause the video, solve your equation, and then come back and check it. So here we've got 3 times 2y plus 7 equals 2y minus 7. So go ahead and take a second, pause it, work it on your own, and then come back and check. All right, so we got to distribute this 3 first. So we end up with 6y plus 21. That looks strange. Let me try that again. 6y plus 21 equals 2y minus 7. Then I'm going to subtract my 2y from both sides in order to get rid of that. So I end up with 4y plus 21 equals negative 7. Then I'm going to subtract 21 from both sides so I can isolate that variable. So 4y equals minus 28, or negative 28. So I subtracted 21 from both sides. And then I divide by 4 in order to get that variable alone, and I end up with y equals negative 7. All right, last we're going to look at an inequality. So an inequality is also a mathematical sentence. So we'll start off with that definition. A mathematical sentence in which two expressions, just like before, just like the equation, are joined by, and this time instead of an equal sign, we have a relation symbol. Okay, and what we mean by that is less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, right? Inequality symbols, what we usually call inequality symbols. So, quick example again, or an easy example, we have c greater than or equal to 4, okay? Expressions joined by a symbol, an inequality symbol here. So when we work with inequalities, we are also going to solve them, just like we solved an equation, but we just have a different symbol. So 4x plus 2 in this example is less than 40. All right, so when we need to solve this, all right, we're going to solve. We'll distribute the 4, so 4x plus 8 is less than 40. Then we'll subtract the 8, and we get 4x is less than 32. And divide by 4, x is less than 8. Okay, so we had an inequality and we solved it to get x is less than 8. So go ahead and do an example just like we did with the other two. You're going to write it down and then pause the video, try it on your own, and then come back to check. So negative 12 times y minus 3 is less than or equal to 2y plus 64. All right, so you should have taken some time to solve that inequality. I'll go ahead and do it here so you can check. Distribute that negative 12. It's the first thing we want to do. Remember, keep following the rules of PEMDAS. Negative 12y plus 36 is less than or equal to 2y plus 64. Now I want to combine my like terms, and doesn't matter if you do the y's first or the numbers first, but I'm going to go ahead and combine the y's, the variables. So you end up with negative 14y plus 36 is less than or equal to 64. Then I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides. So you still have negative 14y is less than or equal to, and that should be 28. And then we divide by negative 14 on both sides to isolate that variable, and you end up with y is greater than or equal to negative 2. Now hopefully you remember why we flipped our inequality sign. Remember, when you divide by a negative or you multiply by a negative when solving an inequality, you have to flip your inequality sign. So don't forget that. Don't forget to flip your sign. All right, now don't forget to go back and write your questions on the left side of your Cornell notes. You're going to be writing possible test questions, questions that maybe we've answered in the notes today, or questions you want to use to study later when you go back. And then write your summary at the very end of your notes. Just summarize what we learned today. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.